On the ground in Hong Kong, where no protests took place today, a day after significant demonstrations saw 380 arrests. For more on that, we can cross to France 24's Oliver Farry. Oliver, what's the latest on the ground there?
Well, there was, as you said, there was nothing in the way of protest today. Nothing was really expected. It is a weekday, and protests have been relatively thin on the ground in the past 6 weeks or so as well. They've only been happening sporadically, and many of those that have been small enough. So the national security law has really changed everything in Hong Kong. It has given sweeping powers to the police and the Hong Kong government, and even Beijing as well, to come down hard on any dissent. Many of the acts that regularly occurred last year, such as vandalism of public transport, is now highly up-classified as terrorism in that case, and even blocking or obstructing politicians from voting can be considered sedition. Likewise, advocating Hong Kong independence or even waving a flag, as a number of the arrestees yesterday did, can see you arrested for secession, even though that is something that is supported by only about 11% of Hong Kongers. So yesterday's arrests were mostly for public order offences. They probably won't result in that many prosecutions. It will be interesting to see how the 10 who were in violation of the new law will fare. And of course, we also have to realise that there is a new unit that will be implementing the national security law in conjunction with Beijing. Secretary of Security John Lee has said that its operations have to be kept secret, which is in effect literally a secret police force. So once that kicks into place, we will see things quite differently.
And Oliver, what of diplomatic tensions over Beijing's heavy-handedness, to say the least? Starting with the UK in particular, right? There's been increasing tensions between London and Beijing over this.
Well, the UK has been left with very little choice in the end but to come out rather strongly against the national security law, given that it has violated the Sino-British Declaration of 1984, which guaranteed 50 years of a separate system between Hong Kong and mainland China. It has to be said, for most of the last decade, Britain has dragged its heels on China, obviously for economic interests. For instance, has been very, very slow compared to other European countries and the US in distancing itself from Huawei's 5G network. Britain has offered recourse to potentially up to 2.5 million Hong Kongers to get 5-year working visas in Britain, and also have a path to citizenship. This would apply to those who were born before 1997, or certainly many of them. That won't, unfortunately, help those who were born after 97, which will include an awful lot of the more radical protesters from the last year. Likewise, Hong Kongers who were born in mainland China may not be able to avail of this. And of course, an awful lot of working class Hong Kongers in the city in the developed world with the greatest poverty gap will probably not be able to up sticks at short notice to go to the other end of the world, especially as many of them do not speak English.
Oliver Farry in Hong Kong, thank you for that. Now, to Myanmar now.